The hype train never stops. So, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was amazing. We all know it. And we've been talking about basically since leaving the theater what is going to happen. What's going to happen in the fourth one. And spoiler alert, but for the end credit scene, we saw two characters. Now, if you've been watching my channel, I've been theorizing like crazy about which characters are going to show up. But the truth of the matter is, obviously, we don't know, but I think we can narrow things down. So we know for a fact that Metal Sonic and Amy Rose are going to be there. And I'd venture to say Team Sonic is going to be there too. And you got to keep in mind that the first three movies are pretty focused, especially the latest one, which was the most successful. So with that in mind, I think it's fair to say that the plot is going to be very much focused around Amy and Metal Sonic and whatever characters fit in. I'm actually kind of unsure how Shadow is going to fit in, how heavily Shadow will be in this one, but how many new characters, because we can speculate all day as to which characters, but how many new characters do I think are going to show up? Well, we're already guaranteed to Metal Sonic and Amy Rose. And I can say with confidence, I think there's going to be at least one other Sonic character that will be part of the plot that hasn't been shown yet, right? The first Sonic movie, we had just Sonic, and then we had Tails and Knuckles in the next one. And then we had Shadow and Gerald, which Gerald is an interesting choice and shows that sometimes the new character might not be, A, one of the more anthropomorphic animal characters, and B, a character who had a very different role in the game. Gerald did want to blow up the world, but he was already dead before the story of Sonic Adventure 2. But now we have two new characters. We have Metal Sonic and we have Amy Rose. So what new characters do I think will show up? Well, I think it'll be someone that supports Amy. If Amy is from the future, it is possible she was sent from a future with Silver or Blaze. That is possible. But I think if Silver does show up, it'll be in a limited capacity. And I could see it going either way with Silver. Is he going to be there? Is he not? I could really see it going either way. But if he is there, it will be a very limited capacity. I think whoever the next character is, it's not going to be someone that steals Amy's spotlight. I think the spotlight will be on her. And you also have to think that these movies are often comedic and take time for stuff like that and character moments with the humans and with the Sonic characters. And I think there's a lot of potential with Amy being the first girl. So I don't think we want anyone who's going to take away from her. I think any new characters that are introduced will likely either be to support Metal Sonic or support Amy. So someone like Cream the Rabbit, I see as of those characters the most likely. Maybe Vanilla, and possibly Big as a cameo, but he wouldn't be a big character. So I would say Cream is honestly the most likely the new characters, but I know people aren't really clamoring for her, and they tend to listen to the fans. They skipped Amy for Shadow, so maybe they'll skip Cream for Silver. Maybe they'll skip other characters because Silver seems to be the most requested right now. They have a tendency to listen to the fans, which leads me to concerns because the fans seem very split on Amy and how they want her to be portrayed. I've made videos detailing my thoughts. I could go into it further. I could even make a whole video on how I want Amy to be portrayed, ideally, like what I'm looking for. But regardless, my point is, I think whatever characters they introduce will be in service of her. So how many new characters? Well, if we're counting Amy and Metal Sonic, at least two. So I'm going to ballpark it and say 3 to 4. I don't see them going over that. I really don't. 3 to 4, by the way, includes those two. And again, whatever characters that they introduce will be smaller. Now, it is possible that they could introduce more because Amy, right? We don't know where she's from. She could be from another world, and maybe part of them just walking around that world as we see other like anthropomorphic characters like that. So who knows? We could see a whole bunch of them and have it just fit naturally. That is possible. But like I said, I think it's going to be a simpler plot, especially if we're dealing with time travel. We want to keep things as simple as possible because that in itself is already complicated. So given that, I think they're going to try and keep things simple. And at least in terms of like focal point characters, I think it will be small. I think we'll see, maybe if we jump around in time, a few different ones, but I really do think this is going to be a very focused narrative with some cameos, some other characters. But I think one of the things this movie will do is potentially open up the doors for an easier way to introduce characters, because this is a human-centric world. Every time a Sonic character has shown up, we've showed that this is crazy. But I actually think Sonic 3, with Shadow having been on Earth for 50 years, has already kind of opened the doors for the possibility that we have had Sonic characters in this world before. And I think the Sonic 4 movie is going to open those doors a little wider, but I don't think it's going to fully bust them open, if that makes sense. It might, but I think this movie is going to do a lot for the way of showing future characters and bringing in the possibility of them. But I don't think the narrative itself is going to have a ton of characters. Well, I think it will pull from Sonic Heroes. I don't think we're going to see like 12 Sonic characters. You know what I mean? But those are my thoughts. Like I said, I don't think there's going to be a ton. I think Amy, Metal Sonic, maybe a few others. I think she could allude to characters from her home world. We could maybe see some of them in a post-credit scene. But I really think it's going to be limited. Let's say 2 to 4. I'm going to ballpark it. I'm going to say... do I want to say... If I were to bet on it, Metal Sonic... I'm going to say 4. And we're going to count post-credit scenes. So I'm going to say 4. But I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy. I'm going to say 4. But, it could change. It could change. Like, if Cream and Vanilla both show up, does that mean no one else is going to show up? No. So I will say at most two big ticket character names. Like, let's say Cream, I guess, will count as big ticket. I mean, barely. Well, I guess if it's Cream and Cheese. See what I mean? Like, once we get into technicalities, if you say Cream the Rabbit, that kind of comes with 2 other characters. Because it comes with Cheese and that comes with the mom. So I'm going to ballpark it and say I think I'm going to lock in 4. And others can be bonuses. So again, we've got Amy and Metal Sonic locked in. I'm going to say we're probably going to see at least 2 other characters. But who knows? We might see more. And obviously, this video is subject to change. But yeah, that's what I think. I think it's going to be a limited amount with potential for more. And kind of like how Cable in Deadpool 2, we hint that he's from a dark future. Who knows? Maybe we won't see it, and then we'll leave fans begging even more. Oh, well, this time they'll have Silver. Who knows? Or he'll be in an end credit scene. It could go a number of ways. But again, I've talked about that before more in depth in other videos. But my thought process is it's going to be a very simple plot with really focused on Amy and Metal Sonic. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun moments with Amy, potentially her being the girl. She and Maddie could really get along. Maddie could be like, finally, we have a girl. There could even be a shopping montage. But again, that depends, because if there's time travel and if they're on a time limit, they may not have time for that. And they may have to save that for another one. But I feel like if Amy is the selling point of this movie, they'll slow down if need be to make room to have fun for Amy, which again is why I really do think they're going to have a limited number of characters in this movie, and they're really just going to be opening the door for others. But let me know what you guys think down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will be sure to comment on more stuff in the future. But if you guys are just dying for something to read and you're like, man, I can't, I just need Sonic 4, but I need something else. Well, I got something to tie you over. So I am a comic book creator, and if you go to my website, Rebel Oasis Studios, you can get my first comic book, Phenomenova Issue 1. It is already available to ship, and guess what? You can even read it digitally. In fact, you can read the first 10 pages of Phenomenova Issue 1 for free. The link will be in the description. If you like that, you can go ahead and buy the physical version, or you can even buy the PDF, or with the subscription to globalcomics.com, you can read the whole dang thing. So make sure to check that out. It is a superhero story set 20 years after World War III and follows the son of a war hero who is struck by lightning while holding a mysterious crystal, only to find himself awakening with lightning powers and super speed. So that is issue 1. And issue 2 is basically done. We're just raising money to print the thing and get it shipped out. And we are 90% of the way there. So if you're interested after reading issue 1, or if you want them both shipped out together, you can go ahead and back the campaign, which will also be linked in the description. So issue 2 follows my main character Galvanite as he begins his training under the hand of one of the veteran superheroes who fought during the war, named the Phoenix Senshi. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely make sure to check it out. Again, all links will be in the description. We got digital, we got physical versions, and I am more than happy to answer any questions you guys have. But that'll do it for this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And make sure that you like this video. I've also been playing Sonic games on stream, like I'm currently playing through Sonic X Shadow Generation. So if that sounds interesting, make sure to tune in for that too. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.